What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadskii, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today we are here to talk about the Escape from CACAO Island event, which is the brand new event that debuted alongside the Gemma Double 6 Sugo Fest here on the 6th anniversary of the English and French version of One Piece Treasure Cruise. So this event is a little interesting. This is not a ranking event, so you don't have to continuously beat it over and over again. The way that this event works is it's all pertaining to your Chopperman requests. So if we go over to the top left-hand corner and check our special missions, you actually will complete these missions to get rewards. So you clear the first event for some rainbow gems, you clear the second event for some rainbow gems, you clear the third event for some rainbow gems. But there are other conditions that you can meet in order to get additional rewards. So with number 2 and 3 of the islands, there are certain missions. The first mission being to clear it with a Jinbe, a Carrot, and a Chopper in your team. There is another mission that requires you to bring a Capone, Pudding, and a Sanji in your team, and then the final mission is to beat it with a full side character team. Now, of course, dual units do count towards this, so if you have a dual unit that is a side unit and then another color, that will still count. So like Luffy Sanji does count, for example. And all of those missions are also the same for the number 3 difficulty, which is a much more difficult event. And you'll get rewards such as ink bottles, cotton candy, gems, etc. So make sure to go ahead and clear it. So yeah. Anyways, you can see that there are 3 different difficulties. The number 1 is very easy. Number 2 is slightly more difficult. And then the 11-star difficulty, number 3, is actually, it's extremely difficult in terms of the bosses have more debuffs, and also the boss HP is significantly higher. Do not be disheartened if you cannot beat number 3. It is a lot more difficult, but number 2 is actually very accessible for a lot of people out there. The boss HP is nowhere near as hard, and there aren't as many debuffs to get around. But in this video today, I'm going to be bringing you guys 3 different teams that can clear all 3 missions of the event. And of course, all of these teams will work for the number 2 event, so make sure to go ahead and build the teams if you can. If you don't have the applicable characters, don't worry, obviously, you can still clear the number 2 event, but number 3 is pretty difficult for a lot of people out there. So hopefully in this video, you guys will love it and enjoy going ahead and just clearing the Escape from CACAO Island event. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into it with the 3 teams. Alright, so getting into this, the first team that we're going to have a look at is the team that requires you to bring a Chopper unit, a Carrot unit, and a Jinbe unit. So characters that I would really advise to bring here are obviously the 2 new free-to-play units that were available during the first part of the anniversary, being the free-to-play Chopper and the free-to-play Carrot. Chopper's special is really good against Perospero on stage 5, as it removes the paralysis, and it also removes the % damage reduction that Perospero has, as well as giving adjacent slots matching, and also giving you an attack boost. Having Chopper special for that specific stage is really good, and then Carrot's really good for the stage after that, which is against Daifuku, and Carrot's special there will give you an orb boost. It removes the bind of your team, because once you kill Perospero, your captain will be binded for 8 turns. So at the end of that turn, it becomes 4 turns if you have your sockets fully maxed. So what you want to do is you want to be using your Carrot special, which reduces it down to a 1-turn cooldown, and then by having the switch ability of Luffy and Sanji as your friend captain, you can go ahead and remove all of the turns of bind. Carrot special will also go ahead and remove the damage threshold off of Daifuku as well, and again giving you adjacent slots matching. So both that Carrot and the Chopper are phenomenal units to bring to this fight. However, the other question is, what Jinbe do you bring? There is a couple of different Jinbes that you could think about. The one that I'm bringing here is a side Jinbe from Magellan's batch, which is a really long time ago. But this special of this Jinbe will actually remove chain lock and chain coefficient reduction, which is good on the final stage because you get inflicted with 3 turns of those debuffs. So by using that special of Jinbe, it removes them and also gives you a chain boost on top of that, which is good. Now you might be wondering, why are we running this Rebecca from the Dressrosa event? Because on the final boss stage of the 11-star difficulty, this does not happen on the 8-star difficulty, by the way. What will happen is on the last stage, if you use an attack boost, they're going to go ahead and switch your captain with one of your crewmates and also lock your slots with a barrier. So you have to hit like a grate or something to get rid of those orbs that you have. So it's really weird because, you know, your captain will be swapped. But this does not happen on the 8-star difficulty. You can just use Luffy Sanji as you want. But this means that by using this Rebecca on the Daifuku stage, we can carry the attack boost that Luffy and Sanji gives us into the final boss room. And another thing is that if you hit 3 perfects, Rebecca will give you a color affinity boost in the next stage to your strength and psi units, and you are not allowed to use a color affinity boost in the last stage either because there will be a special interrupt. So it's really, really annoying. So having this Rebecca to enhance your attack boost for multiple stages and also give you color affinity boost in the next stage is very, very useful. And that's basically how the team performs. So I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip and we'll discuss the next team, which is with Capone, Pudding, and Sanji. So now moving on to the next team is going to be utilizing Super Type Snake Man as the captain instead. I thought that this would be a really good option as you could go ahead and use the Super Type of Snake Man, which will enable you to get around the special interrupt of the Smoothie and Oven on the final boss stage. However, just talking about the condition for this fight, you need to bring a Pudding, a Capone, and also a Sanji unit. So for Sanji, it's kind of easy. You can just use Luffy and Sanji because they're like the most optimal unit to be using for this fight. Now, I am using a special limited time Pudding, who her special ability will remove % damage reduction, which is going to be very good against Perospero. She gives adjacent slots matching as well, which is very useful. Now, as for the Capone unit, I am bringing the new rare recruit Capone because we can use his ability on the final stage against Smoothie and Oven to remove the chain lock and the chain coefficient reduction. Now on this team as well, we're using Mihawk and Perona to give us the conditional boost on the final boss stage, because on the final stage, I can't remember exactly if they have full immunity or what it is, but because of their switch ability anyway, as long as there's 2 or more enemies on the final boss room, or just on any room really, whenever you activate their switch effect, you're guaranteed to get the negative debuff on them, which means that we can use their special ability to give us the boost. And also because their special ability removes block orbs, which again is super duper useful. And then we have Snake Man for the super type ability for the attack boost, and we have their orb boost with Snake Man as well. And then we have Komurasaki, which is in an interesting unit because with double special we can remove all the turns of bind that we'll be receiving after we kill Perospero. And also her special ability gives us a nice heal as well, which is just nice to have in general. And adjacent slots matching and stuff. She's just a really, really solid unit altogether. So, you know, that's another really good option that you could run instead of some other units you may be thinking of. But yeah, this Komurasaki was a really, really good use and just a really great unit for this team in general. But that's basically how it goes. Now, the other types of units you could bring like 6+ Capone, for example. He's got a great special ability to give you the Big Father effect. So you could use that really early on in the fight, and then you can like basically take no damage for the entire duration of the fight just by having Big Father. Big Father also avoids certain debuffs like burn and poison and stuff like that, even though you won't be experiencing that in this fight. Having access to that just to, you know, avoid certain debuffs and to just tank damage while you heal some of it back is ridiculously useful. And as for Pudding, there aren't really too many great options. I think Legend Pudding is also a pretty decent option. You can use a certain special earlier on in the fight and then use Pudding a little bit later, like on the final boss room, to get rid of those block orbs that you may be receiving. So that is an option that you may want to consider. Maybe use the super type of Luffy and then go ahead and use Pudding special to bring that back, because remember that on the final boss room, they're going to react to an attack boost, but when you activate the super type or you activate Pudding special, they can't react to that attack boost being activated. Or you could use it to carry Luffy and Sanji's big attack boost into the final boss room as well. There's a couple of different options that you have there. But as for the Sanji unit, I do think Luffy and Sanji 100% is the best option here as the friend captain at a minimum. If you have your own Luffy Sanji, it definitely makes the fight a whole lot easier, that is for damn sure. But I think just because you can't use an attack boost on the final boss room, it does mean you do have to think about certain ways to carry that boost in. So via Legend Pudding or via the free-to-play Rebecca, which we just talked about in the previous clip. But I'll leave you guys with the rest of this clip using a Sanji, a Pudding, and a Capone unit. And the final clip of this team is going to be a side team taking on the Escape Cacao Island number 3.
何をしてる。
So now we get to talk about the final clip of this video, which is the versus Psy team with this event. Now, with this team, it is pretty powerful and is definitely the highest damage outputting team against this event that I've built out of the three. And the really cool thing about it is we are actually going ahead and using the brand new character that I just pulled, the Germa 66 Sugo Fest exclusive character. Definitely not a requirement for this team, but my god does it help. It helps out a lot because on the final boss room, of course, when you use an attack boost, one of your units will be switched into the captain spot for 99 turns. So we can go ahead and use Germa 66, make them switch into the captain spot, and then use a Luffy Sanji special. However, the thing about it is you'll be stuck with recovery slots, and remember that when you use Germa 66 and they become the captain, you only get the 5 times boost if your Psy characters have a Psy slot or if they have a tandem slot. So even though Luffy and Sanji are giving all of your team recovery slots and you'll only have the 4 times boost with Germa, with all of the other boosts that you have active here, it actually really doesn't matter. So this is going to give you enough damage output on the final boss stage just to break through, and that's basically all you need, which is great. Now, of course, not everyone is going to have access to the Germa 66 character, but you know, as examples of you would have seen in the previous clips on this video, there are a lot of different options that you can use to break through the final stage. One of the good things that we currently have on One Piece Treasure Cruise Global that Japan didn't have when this event was out is that we have access to Gold E Rogers. So you can potentially go with the Gold Roger build if that's something that you want to go for too. But remember that versus the Psy content, or building a Psy team for this content specifically, is quite easy for Global, especially if you are a player that has pulled some of the more powerful legends. We have access to V3 Boa Hancock, Roger as we just mentioned, Germa 66 is a great unit, V3 Law as well as a potential option too, Luffy and Sanji. We have so many good units. I mean, Shanks' crew is even another option to use as the captain as well. So there's a lot of really good units you can use. Another really good rare recruit, as you can see on this team, we're using the Robin from the V3 Boa Hancock batch because she will go ahead and remove a lot of the debuffs on this stage here, as well as having the support of Barto means that we can remove 3 turns of the paralysis, and with the switch effect we can remove the additional turn. So it's really, really nice to have that. I still think this free-to-play character is a really strong option because you can use her to remove all the debuffs on stage 6 against Daifuku, as well as giving you an orb boost, so that's a really good option too. And Shanks' crew is really nice because his special ability will give you a chain lock that lasts for multiple turns, which means that by carrying this chain lock into the final room, you can't basically get any of those negative chain locking effects. So they're a really good option to run as a crewmate or as a captain for this fight, for sure. But that is going to wrap up this video today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you guys did enjoy it, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.